right. Well, hello and welcome to Account-Based Marketing 101 with Mojo Media Labs. We are incredibly excited that you are joining us today. And if you're watching the replay, we are excited that you are watching the replay with us. So before we dive in, I recognize that everyone is super busy, especially on a Thursday afternoon, trying to make sure that everything gets knocked out so that you can maybe be able to duck out a little bit early on Friday. And you chose to spend an hour with us today. So we want to first thank you for joining the webinar. And second, we want to make sure that you are getting everything that you hope for. So just also go ahead and drop in the chat. If there's something specifically that you were looking to get out of today's webinar, we can go ahead and know what that might be and address that in the Q&A section at the end. And then also before we dive into the content today, you should probably go ahead and meet the people that will be presenting. So Nicole, will you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. I am Nicole Fraser, and I'm a growth marketing consultant for Mojo Media Labs. I am based out of Dallas, Texas, and today I'm actually in our offices in Las Colinas for anybody who is familiar with DFW. My job here at Mojo is really to listen and learn and understand our clients and our prospects' challenges and goals, and really come up with some thoughtful solutions for how we might be able to solve those together. Part of that is understanding account-based marketing and what that means for organizations of different sizes, whether or not they're ready for programs like that, and also, learning and knowing all of the relevant tools such as HubSpot, Terminus, Sendoso, right, that aid and help with account-based marketing strategies. And I'm really excited to share a little bit more with you all today and learn more about what you're doing as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Nicole. My name is Mason, and I actually run Mojo's marketing, which means I market a marketing agency, which is super fun because what that means for me is I get to develop strategies and tactics, and I'm in the day-to-day, and I'm learning what is actually working effectively. And then I'm able to pass those learnings on to our clients and now on to you guys today. So just know that I'm in it with you. I'm doing the day-to-day marketing tasks that need to get done. And I hope that through that tactical experience, I'm able to share some things that can help you grow your businesses. So with that, what we're going to cover today are some of the basic topics, which are what is account-based marketing? How is account-based marketing different from other marketing strategies? What kinds of businesses should use account-based marketing? Why is ABM important to B2B marketers? And how can you get started using ABM or implementing ABM using HubSpot today? So go ahead and get the definition right out of the way. According to Terminus, account-based marketing is a focused approach to B2B marketing in which marketing and sales teams work together to target best fit accounts and turn them into customers. And when you really dissect that definition, it kind of violates the conventional marketing wisdom that we've seen, especially with an inbound methodology. And what I mean by that is marketing's main job for a lot of traditional and conventional marketing approaches is to generate as much traffic and get as many eyes as possible. And then once you've gotten those eyes, you're supposed to qualify that traffic and qualify those people into a lead. And then once you've qualified them into a lead, you pass them on to sales, and it's then sales' job to close those leads. And that sounds good on the surface, but I actually think that this conventional wisdom might be a bit broken. And let me give you a prime example. Mojo Media Labs, so the company that Nicole and I work for, from August of 2020 to August of 2021, generated 840,000 website visitors. And that's a huge number. Well, back in about 2018, we had lots of clients asking us, hey, how do I send you guys really large files over email? And we answered that question a lot when they were sending us their brand assets or whatever they needed to send us over email. So we answered that question so frequently, we just decided to turn it into a blog. And then whenever someone would ask that, we would be able to send them the blog. Well, fast forward a few years, and there's a global pandemic, and people suddenly start to work from home. So that blog of 3 incredibly easy or ridiculously easy ways you can email a large file in the span of a year gets 307,000 visits. And I don't think I have to tell you that it's a ton of traffic. It's almost entirely unqualified, but many of those people filled out some kind of a form on our website and were then qualified as a lead. And none of those leads were ever closed because it doesn't really have anything to do with our business. But on the surface, it looked really good. We had a ton of traffic coming in. We had tons of leads coming in. And from marketing's perspective, we did our job. We got the leads in, we passed them on to sales. And really that at its core is why account-based marketing works. Because again, ABM is a focused approach to B2B marketing where marketing and sales teams actually work together and they target best fit accounts and turn them into customers. Now, the reason I've broken it out like that is we're gonna then focus on each one of those three concepts. So for starters, a focused approach to B2B marketing. This means that you stop trying to generate as much traffic as possible and you only focus on those that will actually buy from you. So one of the things that Mojo's actually started to do in transition is we focus more on one to few pieces of content that will really appeal to those we actually most want to work with. And what we've seen is that actually has significantly increased the number of people that start a sales conversation and end up closing because we focused our approach on those that we know are actually likely to buy from us. And it also works incredibly well just across the B2B space, specifically because you likely sell a specific product or a service that solves for a very particular problem in a very particular industry. My past experience was working in software. So our software was very specific to the lending industry. So I couldn't go to marketers, I couldn't go to salespeople and try to sell them the software because it didn't fit. Whereas when you take an account-based marketing approach, we know we want to serve lenders that sell these kinds of loans. And in the lending space, there's tons of different kinds of loans. So it helped to focus our efforts towards those that would actually want to buy from us. And if you really think about it, for many B2B companies, if they were able to sell to 150 to 200 relevant players in their industry, they would be golden. I mean, they would have the sales that they truly need to actually be deemed successful. So if we only need 150 to 200 total accounts, period, why are we using marketing tactics that were designed to attract 1 million people? It realistically doesn't make as much sense as maybe an account-based marketing approach. Because when you make highly targeted marketing that engages the right people, they will want to do business with you. The next thing is marketing and sales works together. I think we've all probably experienced at some point in time marketing and sales frustration because they're not aligned towards the same thing. Sales wants to close more deals, and marketing in most cases, based on what they're actually measured against, they just need to generate more leads. And account-based marketing really kind of cuts through that. Instead of focusing on generating as many leads as possible, you focus on those accounts, again, that you know have a higher likelihood of actually closing. So marketing can create specific material that will equip sales to educate and close those target accounts. Just to give you a prime example of what we've actually done to help with that, we hosted a webinar a few months back called Fix Your Site from Search to Sale. And what I had the opportunity to do is sit in a podcast studio, actually this podcast studio, for about 2 days. And I created custom website reviews for those that submitted their website for a review. And yes, it took 2 dedicated days of work and it was very involved. But what ended up happening is we had about 8 people and 8 accounts that were receiving a website review enter into a sales conversation. And we sent out 40 reviews. So if you're doing the math with me, that's a 20% conversion rate from receiving a website review to entering into a sales conversation. And that was immediately following one piece of marketing collateral that they interacted with. I haven't tracked it over the past few months, but I have a feeling that those people are continuing to engage with our business. And when they need a new website, when they need account-based marketing, when they need inbound, they're going to come back to us because we've provided so much value on the front end that was hyper-targeted to their specific needs. And when you're able to give people actionable information today on how they can improve their business, they will typically listen. And that's what we've also seen. Again, they're continuing to engage with our marketing collateral. And again, you target the best fit accounts and you turn them into customers. So there are probably some companies you know that would majorly benefit from partnering with you. Just start there. If you can provide value on the front end and you can deliver ridiculous results for them, what ends up happening is they will brag about it. They will go tell other people in their industry and they'll give you credit for delivering some ridiculous results. And when you get credit, that word will travel super fast throughout your industry. And as a result, more will start calling you. Because when you do ABM really, really well, what actually happens is your inbound gets better. This would not be a HubSpot user group if we didn't talk about inbound at all. But what has actually been shown is by focusing your effort, your content will resonate better when you create hyper engaging content. And when we say resonate better, what we mean is actually across the industry you're trying to serve, because you focused your efforts on trying to resonate with a few target accounts, but that content will still likely resonate with other people that are not on that target account list. Just to give you a prime example, if we were to write a blog on 10 problems with rapidly scaling SaaS companies that prevent continued growth, it's a bit of a longer title, but if we were to write something like that and we then sent it to 100 target accounts that were SaaS companies, and we had an email nurture that followed up that went into more depth as to actually how to solve those 10 problems. Yes, that blog was targeted towards 100, but if we upload that blog to our website and let it get indexed by Google, other people that have problems as a tech SaaS company will find that blog and will appeal to them, and they may also come inbound. So when you do ABM really, really well, it actually helps your inbound get better. The other thing is that your best fit customers will actually refer you. And if you want a prime example of what that functionally looks like, in the midst of COVID, a lot of companies were not coming inbound, but other companies that were friends with clients of ours asked their friends, what helps you grow your business in the midst of all of this? And we got tons of referrals. About 74% of our revenue from last year was sourced from a referral that was through an email introduction. And again, when things got bad for companies last year, they just asked their friends who helped them grow their business. And our best fit clients recommended us to other great clients. So again, when you do ABM well, your inbound only gets better. And if you'd like to see how to actually functionally make that transition from inbound to account-based marketing was made popular by a guy named Sangram. He's the chief evangelist and co-founder of Terminus. Our president and CEO are actually hosting a webinar with Sangram next week. That's going to be September 21st at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 Central. And you can register for that webinar by going to mojomedialabs.com/webinar. There's going to be a live Q&A at the end of that as well. So if you have any more specific questions about ABM, I know that Sangram would be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. So before we dive any deeper on account-based marketing, I want to go ahead and pause. Are there any specific questions regarding the what is account-based marketing that we can go ahead and answer before we dive any deeper? Nicole, do we have any questions, or are we good to keep going?
Questions yet, Mason? We're good.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and dive into how is ABM different from other marketing approaches? Well, for starters, ABM is exclusive to B2B. And when you think about the name account-based marketing, it makes sense because instead of closing and focusing on a specific individual or a contact, you're focusing on the entire account. In B2C, you're focused on an individual. In B2B, you're focused on the account. It also requires a real list of target companies. So when you're doing an inbound approach, what you're typically going to have are buyer personas. And if you've really done your homework and you've really set up a great inbound engine, you've also probably set up something that is called an ideal customer profile that outlines some of the firmographic information. And by firmographic, we mean their annual revenue, their number of employees, any of the things that are important for your business that help you identify who your best fit customers are going to be. You'll have that laid out in an ideal customer profile. Account-based marketing takes that a step further, and it takes that ICP, again, that ideal customer profile, and it uses that as a framework to identify best fit customers before they've ever come to you. So as a result, you know who your best fit customers are, and you can start to go after them by name instead of trying to create general content that would appeal to customers that would fit this ideal customer profile. With that, it does require more data and more technology than some other marketing approaches. Again, if you've got an ICP, you've got to figure out a way to take that ICP and turn that into a target account list. And then you also have to figure out a way to run ads or send emails or connect over LinkedIn. And you've got to figure out a way to start to develop relationships within those accounts And that just takes more data, that takes more technology than really the inbound methodology. It's also hyper personalized. So we're going to hammer that point home. It's not general content. It is specific content to a specific account. And again, that prime example of we sent out website reviews. I can't necessarily make a website review that is a general review that would be appealing to every single individual that would work in an account-based marketing approach. Yes, we can create a guide and we can let that guide be a downloadable PDF. And if I'm not mistaken, we actually have that. It's a website audit kit. So we have done something like that, but we took it a step further by taking those findings in the audit kit and we applied it to somebody's website for them. So that's, again, when we say hyper-personalized, that's what we mean. It also gets your entire company involved. So if you think about the marketing and sales process, if you create this hyper-personalized experience where you really feel like they understand you every single step of the way, marketing is sending content that with you, and then when sales picks up the conversation, it's a seamless handoff and sales knows exactly what to tell you based on what marketing has been delivering, and it's just completely seamless. And then you end up buying the product and you get passed over to customer success or customer support, and they treat you like a stranger. That doesn't really work, and it would be jarring to have an experience like that, which is why when you implement ABM as a strategy, it's an entire organizational shift. So it's a pretty major deal when you implement ABM as your main strategy. And the last thing is it focuses on revenue over leads. So I mentioned earlier that if you only have 150 to 200 relevant players in your industry and you focus on only 150 to 200 players, that's very different from what most businesses are doing right now, which is focusing on trying to generate 100 leads a week. So when you focus on revenue over leads, you're again focusing all of your effort on closing those best fit customers that will stay with you for years to come. And that's a bit of a shift in the metrics that you look at. That's a bit of a shift in the way that you think through what your marketing is supposed to do. So what kinds of businesses should actually use ABM? Again, B2B companies. This is not a B2C tactic. If you are using HubSpot and you're in the B2C space, you are going to be very well served by inbound. The other thing is you want to solve a specific problem for an industry, a company role, or a stage of business growth. And most B2B companies are doing that. And just to unpack that a little bit further, again, like I mentioned earlier, my background is lending software. So we served the lending industry. When we say a company role, I was the marketing director of a lending software company. So I would get tons of other software vendors that were trying to sell me marketing software to help me organize my data or organize our automation or provide a CRM, whatever that needed to look like. They had a product that served my specific role within the company. And the last one is a stage of business growth. And I think of this as, for example, let's say a consultant that specifically works with tech startups that are under 10 million that need help implementing scalable processes. You're not going to want to go after an enterprise level account because your product and your service specifically focuses on tech startups. So that's when I say stage of business growth, that's what I mean is where are they in their journey towards continuing to grow year over year. You also want to have a larger annual deal size. If you don't have larger than a $25,000 annual contract size or annual deal size, you may want to look at a different approach, because if it's not over about $25,000, you're going to be looking at needing a lot of volume over just quality accounts that will stay with you for years to come. So that is a high number that is somewhat flexible, but you know that you need to have a larger deal size to make ABM work at scale. You also want to have a bit of a longer sales cycle. So one of the things that really is helpful with account-based marketing, we'll actually get into this a little bit later, but it helps to increase your pipeline velocity, which means you're able to close deals faster. But you're not really going to be able to break into an account and have multiple contacts that all know about your business and start to develop relationships with numerous contacts on the buying committee if your sales cycle is about 2 days, or if somebody, it's a one call close. They need it or they don't. So what you really want to do is you want to have a longer sales cycle so that you can start to really develop that relationship from the start. And this one, in my opinion, is actually a little bit optional, but I feel it is important to highlight. You do want to have an ongoing relationship with your customers. Highly effective account-based marketing helps to increase your year-over-year customer lifetime value. And if you don't have an ongoing relationship with your customers, then it may not be the best approach for you. Again, you may want to go back to a volume approach. And the reason I say it's optional is I grew up the son of a landscape architect. So he would buy massive pieces of equipment that would be hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it was when he needed it. So they had him as an account in their CRM. They knew that he might need different pieces of equipment based on his business model and what he was doing, but it wasn't something that was an ongoing business relationship in the sense of an annually recurring revenue model or a monthly recurring revenue model. It was when he needs a new piece of equipment, he'll buy it. So unless you have some kind of a massive deal size, you may want to take more of an inbound approach. And if you want to take ABM and you've got a massive deal size and it's not an ongoing relationship with your customers in a formal sense of an annually occurring revenue model, you may want to have a deal size of at least $100,000 to offset that. Again, these may be just one-off sales more so than an annually recurring contract. So why is ABM important for B2B marketers? I'm going to fly through these stats and kind of summarize them at the end, but I did feel it was important to just show that there are some really important statistics that have been researched in depth and that it proves ABM is a fantastic approach for B2B marketers. So for starters, 85% of marketers saw an increase in ROI when they implemented account-based marketing. No marketer saw a decrease in ROI, which means worst case scenario, you maintain the status quo from a revenue perspective, which is amazing in my opinion. That really, if you do it well and you do it correctly, you only have room for improvement. 80% of marketers saw a larger average deal size. 56% saw a rise in best fit customer base. 53% have been able to build stronger relationships with their top tier clients, and read that as best fit clients. 53% were able to generate higher quality opportunities. 35% saw better alignment between marketing and sales, and then 35% were also able to accelerate their sales pipeline. And all that data comes from Inbox Insight. Now, what does that functionally mean for your business today? You have better customer expectations on the front end. When you do ABM really, really well, again, you're creating hyper-personalized content that speaks directly to the account, which means when you create content, it helps to better set up customer expectations of what your business will actually offer them. So you set better expectations on the front end. I think we've all interacted with the business where our expectations were not met, they were mismatched, and it caused frustration and strife in that business relationship. So when you implement ABM well, you actually have better customer expectations on the front end. Additionally, when they actually know the value that you provide on the front end, you're going to have an increased ROI for a variety of reasons. Again, that's going to be an increased customer lifetime value. That's going to be a higher deal size because once they understand the value that you offer, they want more of your services or they want more of your products. And that also directly leads into deals closing faster, better set expectations. They recognize the value, they want to buy, so they're going to close faster. That also directly leads into higher customer retention rates. Again, if your customers understand what they are supposed to be getting, they love the product, and it matches what they were expecting on the front end, they're going to stay with you for years to come because you actually solved the problem that they needed help solving. And then I think this is a little bit buried in it, but what we've also seen is happier employees. Now, why is that? Marketing and sales are aligned. So when they're not so frustrated with one another and marketing actually helps sales close deals and sales is actually closing deals, everyone's happier. And when people see revenue rise year over year, everyone's happier. The other thing is when you actually work with your best fit customers, they're happier. And when you have happy customers that then speak with your employees and everyone is only speaking positive things about how they're able to help each other, you end up having happier employees because they enjoy working with the customers. And it also helps to, again, build stronger customer relationships. It's that flywheel of when you have happy customers, that makes your employees happy. When you have happy employees, that helps build strong relationships with your customers. So it's this happy flywheel that just keeps spinning because you've actually got your best fit customers that are enjoying your products and services, that are seeing results, and your employees are just happy to work with them. And again, if you'd really like to see how to make this transition, because it is quite the transition, join us for our webinar next week with Sangram. That's September 21st. That's Tuesday. That's going to be at 1 p.m. Central Time. And you can go to mojomedialabs.com/webinar to register today. So what I want to do is I want to show you how you can actually get started using account-based marketing in your HubSpot instance today. So I'm going to do a quick demo in our demo portal, because what I mentioned earlier is that it requires a lot of data. It requires just a lot of information about the accounts. And if you're just starting out, we don't recommend you go and buy a ton of tools. We don't recommend that you go buy a data enrichment tool like Sales Intel. We don't recommend you actually go and buy an ABM platform like Terminus, because what you want to do is you want to get executive buy-in from the start, and you want to be able to show, hey, this is a viable strategy. And if we were to double down on this strategy, we'd actually get even better results. So how do you even get started with something like that? Well, what I'd recommend is you, under the sales tool, you want to go look at your deals. And again, some of you may have HubSpot marketing automation, and you are then integrating that with your Salesforce instance. However, you have the ability to view a deal pipeline or see old deals, I would go look at that deal pipeline. And then there are two approaches you can do with this. So we've got appointments scheduled. And again, this is a demo portal, so these are just test deals. But let's say that, this was qualified to buy. What we could do is actually understand, again, what they're looking for, what they need, and then start to run specific marketing collateral towards these accounts to help them move through the deal pipeline faster, and also close at a higher deal size. So for example, let's say we know that for this deal that's $15,000, they are worried about a very specific feature that it may not be able to deliver the results that they're looking for. Well, if you have another customer that you have actually been able to deliver results for, you can then share a case study using potentially advertising, or if you're already in a conversation, you can just send that case study on over to them. You can share it over LinkedIn, whatever that needs to look like. It's a way that you can start to engage numerous contacts within one account. Another idea is just go ahead and connect with the people that are the decision makers within each account. And then your salespeople over LinkedIn can say something to the extent of, super excited that we're getting to speak with you about partnering with you. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Also, here's a case study that has highlighted some of the ways that we've been able to bring success for customers like you. So again, if they're already in the pipeline, you can run account-based marketing strategies and tactics towards those individuals. The other thing is, let's say you've got some closed lost deals. They were in your pipeline, you didn't end up getting to close them. What you could do is start to develop an active list of previously lost deals. And you can call it, for example, lost deals to re-engage. So what you do is you set up some criteria that says deal stage is closed lost. And depending on your business, you may want to wait 180 days. You may want to wait a whole year. I'm not sure exactly what your business model looks like, but you want to wait a period of time where it makes sense to then follow up and say, hey, we were talking about doing this. Did you have that problem resolved? And then you can run specific account-based marketing tactics and strategies, again, highlighting case studies, sending blogs, hopping on a call, sharing a podcast, and just sharing high-quality, engaging content that is specifically catering to their business needs and offering as much value as possible on the front end and starting to develop that relationship. And if you do it that way, what you can see are, okay, we could re-engage HubSpot, and we know that they didn't move forward with us because we didn't have the appropriate WordPress development talent. Well, now we've partnered with those other agencies, so if they have WordPress needs, we can help them in that way and ensure that they get all the things that they need. So again, we can then speak to the problems and the objections that they offered us and overcome those objections with hyper-personalized content. Now, some of the pushback that I've gotten in the past regarding going after closed lost deals is, well, Mason, they didn't want to work with us in the past. We don't want to rock the boat. And what I say in response to that is, you're offering help. You are offering exclusively value, and you're just trying to re-engage and foster a relationship with them. And if they get upset and frustrated over just free value and free help, they probably weren't a best fit customer from a culture standpoint. And that's okay. That's a risk I'm willing to take to re-engage a potential best fit client. And again, I'm offering free value. I'm offering free help. So I hope that if I'm offering free help to somebody, that they would be at least willing to look at the content and then decide whether or not they want to re-engage in a conversation. So the last thought, and I can't really show this in the HubSpot portal, but I mentioned it earlier. We ran a webinar that was allowing people to submit their website for a website review. And we were able to follow up with personalized website reviews for anyone that submitted a website. So that was a specific tactic that we were able to implement as a way to engage people and create easy, hyper-personalized content. And that works for our business model because we do website development. Now, if you can look at your product offerings and identify what is something that we could create a personalized audit, a personalized report, and run a webinar where people can submit to get that audit in that report, and then we can follow up with that personalized content. What is something that you could do for your business? And that's a way that you can then start to run an ABM tactic to see, does it actually get people into our pipeline? Do those people match who we're trying to work with? And then do they close, and how fast do they close, and at what value? Again, it's a really easy way that you can go ahead and start running some kind of an ABM strategy and some tactics to prove the effectiveness of an account-based marketing approach. So with that, I think the last thing that we have is Q&A. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And do we have any questions?
We have not received any questions, but if you do have them, please place them in the question box or the chat box, and we will make sure that they are addressed.
Well, while we're waiting on a couple questions to come in, I do have one bonus thing to share, and we'll go ahead and let some other questions start to come in. So if you're wondering, how do I actually differentiate these individual accounts as target accounts? I've identified some. So what do I do? You can just select all these accounts, click edit, and then there's a property, edit target account. What you want to do is click that as true. And once you've updated that to true, under contacts, there's a target account section. You'll just need to set this up. But once you have it set up, you can actually monitor and see, do we have enough contacts to actually reach out to? Do we have any open deals? What's the open deal value? Have we done any outreach? And when was the last time they engaged with us? And it's really just a very helpful account-based marketing hub that you can get at a glance to see what accounts do we actually have that are engaging at all. And then as you go to create more personalized outreach at scale, for example, we might send out 100 emails that are personalized, and we really want them to go to a specific number of accounts. It helps you in your list segmentation to already have identified your target accounts, because then you can do a contact or a company property of target account. It's going to go ahead and help you to filter down your list, and then you can further segment from there. So that's just another very tactical, helpful tip.
All right, we do have a question, Mason, from Vanna. And she asked, what we're struggling with is lead gen from target accounts.
Got it. So when we talk about lead gen from target accounts, it's interesting because lead gen in many ways is a term that is more associated with inbound marketing. So when we talk through account-based marketing, the metric changes from lead generation to target account engagement. So unless I'm wrong, and if I'm wrong, please feel free to put more information in the chat. And I just see you've posted a little bit more. So before I continue with this answer, we don't have much historical data, but we've built a target account list / ICP based on our buyer personas and customer list. We're currently running ads through ABM platform like Rollworks, as well as LinkedIn, but it's been difficult to see any results. Not sure what the time frame looks like compared to the normal inbound strategy for lead gen. So what I would say there is the struggle you're likely facing is that the content you have developed and that you're presenting may not be the content that these target accounts need. So just for an example, if I've known some companies that have, for example, exclusively run requested demo ads, and that was their account-based marketing tactic that they wanted to implement, and they just wanted to run requested demo ads towards those target accounts. And that isn't really developing personalized content for those accounts. So to give you some better answers, can you go ahead and outline what are you sending to these accounts using Rollworks? As you're sending that, I do want to highlight that you actually went through the appropriate steps. You want to first, when you're developing your ICP, you want to look at your existing customer base and identify trends within your existing customer base that will help you identify what are the things that we love about these customers and what are the things that we recognize with other customers have not been things that have lent themselves towards better customer relationships. So kudos to you for actually looking at your existing customer list to develop an ICP and then to develop a target account list. And while you're giving us a little bit more information and context as to what you're sending to these target accounts, I will also, we are currently sending out display/web ads to personalized landing pages based on their ICP. The ads are mainly static and have generic CTAs like learn more. We're going to get very tactical because we don't have a ton of people on the webinar. And I think this would be of major benefit to those that watch the replay. If you can actually go ahead and copy and paste in a landing page, I'd love to see what you mean by personalized landing page based on their ICP. The other thing is it sounds like you need to change up. We're offering same-day delivery to national retailers. Okay. It sounds like the CTA also probably needs to change. I'm personally never really a fan of learn more. In addition to loving account-based marketing, I'm also a StoryBrand certified guide. And learn more is not necessarily the best call to action because I want to be called to do something active. So, I mean, it could even be get same day delivery, or, and again, I don't know all the details of the business, but it could be. I mean, how does your product or your service actually improve the lives of national retailers? So, all right, let's go ahead and look at this landing page. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And this is going to be a bit of a twofer. So we're going to look at, this is going to be a website review as well as looking at it from an ABM lens. So same day and scheduled omni-channel delivery. So interestingly enough, I actually have a personal vendetta against the word omni-channel because I previously worked at a company that wanted to use the language fintech infrastructure, or sorry, most advanced and comprehensive omni-channel fintech infrastructure, which is the most jargony series of words you could ever use. So my personal vendetta, and this is maybe too personal, you can ignore it if you think so, but I would not use the word omni-channel. I only know what omni-channel means because I had to have it explained to me when they said this is the language we're going to use on our website. So what you might want to do is figure out another way, because especially not knowing exactly what you offer, omni-channel can mean a variety of things. So that could be you're going to deliver something to me through my inbox, as well as through a text message, as well as through a LinkedIn message, as well as through Facebook, when in reality what you are probably offering is some kind of a pickup. And I see that the company is called Pickup Now. So you're offering pickup versus delivery versus maybe cross-country flights. And you've just got essentially what it looks like is a software that helps to manage the processes that are involved with delivery for maybe a furniture store. I cannot see the chat. So Nicole, if she adds any more context, please go ahead and just call it out.
She just added, we offer an API solution and delivery services.
Okay. So, and again, we've got learn more. When I click on learn more, where is it taking me? That's taking me to a contact us. So what I imagine is this right here is schedule a demo. So there's that piece of it. The other thing is when you talk about personalized landing pages, let me give you, oh goodness. We use the HubSpot CMS, and with the HubSpot CMS, we're able to use personalization tokens. So I can develop a landing page that would say something like, hey, Vanna, here's how we can help pick up today. And it would outline probably the same things based on, a software API as far as the value propositions, but the personalization comes in with the fact that I was able to at scale call you out by name based on the fact that you're in our CRM and call out the company you work for. And because I sent it to you and it was written in a way that was catered towards software. So we talk about using ABM landing pages. It's adding in personalization, and it's creating an experience that is specifically catered to a niche in an industry. Now, considering I don't know everything that your business does, and I don't have a ton of time left on this webinar, the things that I would go ahead and say would be this learn more should be some kind of a different call to action. And then okay. Honestly, you're doing a lot right. Like you highlight the companies that you are showing. The other question I have, and Nicole, if there's any more context, feel free to just go ahead and shout it out. But the other question I would have is, where's the breakdown? Are people not clicking on your ads? Are people landing on this page and not taking the next step into the learn more? And I don't necessarily know that this is, I don't think this is necessarily as personalized as it could be based on the accounts you're going after.
So Vanna just said that people are clicking on the ads, but they're not submitting the form. So it's getting that conversion that's creating a problem.
Got it. So you might have done what I did when I ran my first ABM campaign, which was I asked way too much of somebody at the beginning. We developed this incredibly advanced automation, and we asked people to select the problem that they were facing with their marketing. And it was amazing. And nobody clicked a single link. And it was awful because it took weeks to develop, and we were able to leverage that in other ways and repurpose it. But it might be that the target accounts aren't aware of your business, and they click on the ad and they're expecting to get just more information. And what they end up getting is, for lack of a better word, a sales pitch. So what you could do is ungate this case study and highlight the success that your business has been able to bring people. And again, I see a discount retailer experienced 130% sales growth in e-commerce and omnichannel during Q4 of 2020 across the nation. That's huge. I mean, that's a major point that you would want to highlight, but it's kind of buried towards the bottom under a lot of other text. And it doesn't, like, I looked for any kind of information that highlights the success that you bring. So you want to ungate the case study. And again, if you're running targeted ads, and this is a targeted landing page, you can gate the case study in other places, but you may want to just make the information more available for people. And then what you can do is, once you've seen that people have actually landed on this page, you can then follow up with the existing ads that you're running, because you've just ran an awareness, oh goodness, what is the awareness stage campaign that then invites people to come back and engage with your business further by scheduling a demo or learning more. Again, I would also change up your CTAs to be more engaging, but those are the things that I would just off the cuff throw out there. Nicole, do you have anything else to add?
I do not have anything else to add. It looks like that is it in terms of context.
Okay. Vanna, I'm just now catching up. Is that all helpful? Okay, perfect.
Great.
Well, Stephanie, since you're on the chat, do you have any questions? Because if not, we might go ahead and end a little bit early. Vanna, I'll also throw this out there. If you want to connect with me over LinkedIn, I'd be happy to hop on a call and give you just 30 minutes to talk through anything else that might be of benefit. Awesome. Well, if there are no further questions, thank you guys for joining us today. I hope that this was of value. Vanna, I look forward to connecting with you. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to go to mojomedialabs.com. We've got tons of resources on account-based marketing. We also have a big red button that says schedule a call. So if you'd like to hang a little bit more with Nicole Fraser, she would be happy to talk with you about how to implement account-based marketing specifically for your business. So again, thank you for joining us. We hope you have an awesome rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you all. Bye.
Bye.